Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's been a while, it's been a hot minute, and this is a different setup than usual. I have moved back to North Carolina with my parents, so definitely going to be a change of scenery when it comes to where I'm filming. Today I really just wanted to come outside and read for a bit. I'm also filming just like a life update and reading vlog out here, so I'll be posting that like very shortly as well. It honestly might be posted before or after this, probably after. As I'm filming this other video, I have 3 books over here. Well, 2 physical in my Kindle, so endless book options there. My brain's been all over the place, and so I think my reading has too. So since I've been terrible and a very distracted reader, instead of actually reading, I'm gonna go through a list of books that I want to read. So I do want to get into more books that are either like horror or fiction that have like that unhinged female or unhinged like rage kind of trope with it. I just find that very interesting. It's something that I really connect with when I'm reading with these FMCs. Like there's something about it where I'm like, I relate so much to you, and though I'd like to be doing the things that you're doing, I can't because that's illegal. So you're doing it for me. So I'm really like enjoying books like that. I'm trying to get into more of that this year because I'm trying to read a little more intentionally. A few that I have on here for that, there's 3 of them. I have Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim, Chlorine by Jade Song, and Lapvona, I think that's how you pronounce it, by Otessa Moshfegh. I remember when Eyes Are the Best Part, I think it was on Goodreads for the giveaway that like nobody ever gets. Like it's so hard to get copies for that. But I continuously enter and think one day maybe I will win. And of course, since it's been like officially released, I've been seeing more and more like reviews and comments on it, and I want to get into it so badly. Otessa Moshfegh, sorry if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. I have been really wanting to get into her work, and I do have one of her books already that is on my TBR probably for like this next month. I would say I'm wanting to start to get into her. I would say there are a lot of like her books and Mona Awad that people kind of like rub together in the sense of like if you read one, you definitely read the other. And so both of those are authors that I really like to get into this year, even though I didn't put any of like Mona Awad's books on this list. And then Chlorine is one that I have been just dying to read. I really don't hear many people talk about this book ever. It's really just this one creator that I have loved for so long now. Her name's Mandy. I'll put her information up here. But yeah, I've just been loving all of her recommendations. It's very like just a creative list, unique list. It's very fun to watch her content. And this has been one she has talked about multiple times to the point where I'm like, yep, you've convinced me. So I definitely want to read that one this year. Of course, like a lot of others on here that read fantasy, they probably have The Night and the Moth on their list for this year. By Rachel Gillig, who did One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns for the Shepherd King duology. She is incredible. The fact that that was her debut is insane. And so I just cannot wait for what this next book, and like I think it's also a duology. I cannot wait for what that is going to look like. The world she creates and just like the beauty and like with the romance and gothic feeling and atmosphere is stunning. So I just can't even imagine what that one's gonna look like. I'm so excited. But yeah, that's like probably one of my most anticipated books that's releasing this year, I would say. An author that has become like an auto read or auto buy for me is Nat Cassidy. I read his book Mary this year. I did it as an audiobook. Okay, so the issue was not the fact that I touched the off button. It died. That's it. So I went inside, plugged that in, and got lunch, but now I'm back. Hopefully this is like decent enough. Hopefully I'm close enough to the camera that you can hear me well. If there's like nature in the background, sorry. At least it's not raining anymore, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm hoping like the quality of this is still pretty decent, like lighting wise. It's hard for me to tell because it's so bright out. Anyway, I think I left off whenever I was starting to talk about Nat Cassidy. I don't even know if I got to his name. The first time I read Nat Cassidy was through his book Mary on Libby as an audiobook. I really loved it. It was a 4.5 star for me. I think it could have been a 5 star, but I just felt like the end was like a little too long. I was just like ready for it to end. Not necessarily because it was like dragging on completely. I was just ready for like a resolution and to see like how we were going to wrap things up. But it was an amazing book. I've said a few times maybe on like Instagram or like my Goodreads where it just felt like it was like the beauty of horror. And though this is like an extremely bold statement and take this with like a little bit of a grain of salt. The way that this book made me feel is the way that I feel about like The Haunting of Hill House, Bly Manor, all those series. It's just so beautifully tragic. It's like the perfect mix of horror, grief, and just like a cycle of life that you're going through, and I feel like he depicted that so well. And I think him having like an outro and intro to the book, like him speaking himself, made me like him even more like as a person. I think that added to it for me personally, and so now just because of how that book made me feel and him as a person, he's instantly going to be an auto buy for me. So the 2 books that I have on this list from him are Nestling, which is an older one that people have highly recommended, and it's always one of his works that's rated pretty highly. And then When the Wolf Comes Home is a new one that's releasing this year, I think within the next month or 2. It's like within this springtime. I'm so excited for it. I just think he does horror so well in such like a really beautiful way. Even though I haven't read Nestling yet, I just have such high hopes for that, and I think this next one's gonna go head to head with those pretty well. I did see it available as an ARC on NetGalley, but I did technically request it, but I haven't heard anything back yet. I'm not sure if I'll end up getting it or not. Hopefully I will. I would just love, I want to be on this guy's mailing list. Like seriously, like send me all your books. I'll love you forever. But yeah, I'm just really excited about this one. I just get so happy whenever I find an author that I really just enjoy their work, and I can just like bank on them being great and not having to worry about if I'm gonna love their next book or not. This next one's also part of a duology. It is the Ghost and Shadow duology from Darcy Coates. Now this is an author, I've said it in another video before, I have bought like 5 or so of her books, have never read any of them. I'm just so obsessed with what she writes. I know that's a very weird thing to do, is like buy a bunch of some of these books and haven't read them yet, but continue to buy more. All of her books are like very paranormal, ghost stories, haunted locations, and I love watching stuff like that, and so I'm just obsessed with the fact that that is like her shtick. She stays with it, it's consistent, I love it. I know a lot of times people aren't crazy about a paranormal story, or especially like a paranormal twist when it comes to thrillers, but hers reads more as like that horror fiction. I know there is like a crossover when it comes to like horror and thrillers for some people, but at the same time I know like thriller people are less likely to be excited about something paranormal. We've seen it before with some other book reviews that people don't like the twist because it went paranormal. If you know, you know. I loved the book. Not everyone does. I won't even say it because I don't want to spoil the ending if you don't know what I'm talking about. That's very vague, but like, yeah, those are ones I'm really excited to get into. The duology has House of Shadows and House of Secrets. And then an author that I haven't read before, but I'm excited to read this one, is Deepen by Ali Hazelwood. I still consider myself extremely new to romance. I haven't read a whole lot, and I feel like I've been very picky when it comes to it. I've read 2 of the 3 books out of the Brown Sister trilogy by Talia Hibbert, and then I've read Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson. That one was alright. And then the one that I've actually like really enjoyed, where I'm like, wait, I could maybe be a romance girly, is Rebel Blue Ranch by Lila Sage. I loved it so much. Once Wild and Wrangled is released and I get to it, I will like immediately come on here, do a full review and like ranking of like characters and all the books and stuff. But I have absolutely loved that series. But I haven't read any sports romances, but I was instantly hooked just on the idea of this book the second I saw the cover and noticed that it was swimming. I will forever love a swimmer boy, forever and ever. That is like my thing. I grew up swimming. I swam competitively from, I think, for 8 years, from like roughly around 10 all the way through like high school, and 4 of those years was like all year round. So yeah, this one was just really exciting for me because I know if they talk about a bunch of terminology and just like the experiences of being like a swimmer and in that environment, I'll obviously relate to it and know what they're talking about, which is exciting. I feel like that's one thing that stirs me away from like sports romances, is like I'm not a sporty gal. I don't love a sport, so I'm not really sure how much I'll love like the sport idea of it. I feel like it had to be very specific ones for me to get excited. I will say I do have The Striker from Anna Huang that I've yet to read, so I'm curious to see how I like that compared to Deepened, even though I know it's 2 different authors, just kind of comparing a sport that I know a lot about and sports that I might not know as much about. But I know a lot of people have been liking Deepened so far. And then these next 2 are authors that I just really want to get into. I feel like they will expand like just the genres that I'm reading, the type of writing style, all that, are Stephen Graham Jones and R.F. Kuang. Both of these are such highly recommended authors. I feel like if you read them, you like rave about their writing. They're auto-buy authors for most people if you do read them. And I feel like there's no wrong place to start for either of them, but specifically for R.F. Kuang, I feel very basic saying this, but like Babel most likely, because it is a standalone and less intimidating than starting a trilogy. Like, that being said, the Poppy War trilogy, I definitely want to get to those eventually. I just don't know if that's like the best place for me to personally start. With Stephen Graham Jones though, I will say I want to start with his newest release that's about to come out, The Buffalo Hunter. I don't know why I feel inclined to start with that rather than going back and reading something older. I know a lot of his works are recommended. There's a trilogy, I believe it's a trilogy. I cannot think of the name right now. I know the word chainsaws in there, that's so vague, but like this one, I'll put it up here. This one, and then I know, I believe it's Only Good Indians. That's highly recommended. I just feel like with both of these authors, they're really good to like add to my like Rolodex of people I like to read from. There's a lot that you can learn and grow from their writing style and just the topics that they discuss while being within like a thriller, horror, or fantasy setting. Like, I just feel like what they do so well, even though I've never read anything of them. That's just the way they're perceived within the bookish community, which makes me more excited to read from them. But yeah, that is my full list of authors or books that I'm really hoping to get into this year. I feel like if they are newer authors to me, the books that I chose like will be a really good starting place. But if you have read from some of these authors before and think they have other either series or standalones that you would recommend starting out first or like immediately going to next, please let me know in the comments. I want to start my journey off with these authors in the perfect spot ever. But yeah, these are books that I'm really hoping to get to this year. And of course, I'll like keep you updated on if I start them and do reviews as well to kind of keep this like an updated list. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for bearing with the microphone, weather, background noise, all of that. So yeah, I hate outros. Bye.